Hi everyone. I'm trying something new today. Last time when Mike was doing his teaching, I started using the scratch pad on Marco Polo, and so now I have notes on my phone right in front of me here, and I hope that it will make, I hope it'll work okay. So he was teaching on Galatians 2:20. That is such a verse, isn't it? It always reminds me of the verse, probably 2 Corinthians. I should have maybe looked it up, but it's the one where it says, we have this treasure in jars of clay. And it talks about the great and wonderful treasure that we have, that we carry about in our bodies. And when I think of Galatians 2:20, I think of being crucified with Christ, and I no longer live. And I think of this shell that is me, my mortal body, has now died. The stuff that was inside of me, my dead sinful nature, has been put to death. I have died with Christ. I have been crucified with him on the cross. And I no longer live. That is, my old sinful man is dead, is buried. And what came up out of the grave is my new resurrected life, in which it is not me who lives, but I am alive because it's Christ that lives in me. And so in this body, the one that people see, me, Lenora, there is a life living in it, and it is a life of Jesus Christ. And it is such a humbling thing to think that God himself would choose to descend, to come down, to make his home with me and dwell with me. And I'm like, how about if I disappoint him? How about if I fail him? How about if I mess up? But I live this life by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself up for me. So I'm not worried about myself anymore and what I might do wrong. No, I have faith in Jesus Christ. Yes, I will still sin. I will still mess up. But it's like I don't need to dwell and become fixated on that, because I have something alive and beautiful to look at and fixate on instead. Jesus. By faith in Jesus Christ, who loved me and gave himself up for me. So I now live by faith. I walk by faith. There's such a separation between the new resurrected me and the flesh that does still cling, that fights actually for life, that fights for attention. It's a taking up your cross daily thing. It doesn't come all at once. It's just this moment by moment, day by day, persevering commitment that as it patiently waits, it eagerly expects with an expectant hope the beautiful things that God has promised both in this life, as we have access to every spiritual blessing in the heavenly places that's ours now. We've been given eternal riches even now in this temporal life. And then obviously there is the waiting for the final redemption that is spoken about in Romans 8. Our bodies eagerly wait, and they groan with the waiting. And then also in 1 John 3, where it says, when he appears, we will be like him. And it talks about how right now we're already children of God, but something better is coming when we experience fully that final, glorification, that redemption that's coming. And it says, everyone who has this hope in himself purifies himself, just as he is pure. So even just knowing and waiting for and expecting our eternal home and life with Jesus in heaven purifies us. the purifying process is not such a hard one. It's not clawing at this huge unscalable wall trying to get up. It's admitting that we are sinful beings. It is having faith that Jesus cleansed me and is enough to purify me. It is simply waiting for heaven. These are things that purify us. I'm very, very excited about that. And now I'm actually starting to look at my notes. I like how Mike said we await execution, both by law, because it condemns us, and by birth, because we were born into a sinful nature. It's not just what we did wrong. It's that we were born at enmity. We needed help. We had a need that we couldn't answer, but Jesus came and he died for us. Jesus gave us his standing as he stood as our substitute. We watch him being crucified, and I would say Isaiah 53 is about one of the most beautiful chapters you can read if you want to read about the crucifixion and what it accomplished. It's touched me deeply this Easter season. So, with him dying for all sin, my sinful, transgressing self died too. The life I now live, by faith in Jesus who loved me, my faith must be specifically in Jesus. Mike called it a narrow focus. Jesus. It's not broad, encompassing all sorts of things. It's Jesus and what he did for me on the cross. My faith is not a wide-angle lens or not a broad beam of light. It is a very specific focus, a very specific path that I walk along as I walk in the light. There's not veering off to the left or the right, but walking straight forward with my eyes fixed on him. I lay off the weights and throw off the weights and the sin that wants to cling so closely. I have no obligation to my flesh. I don't need to respond when Satan comes with his tempting thoughts that he wants to entice me with. My flesh wants to respond, but I am not obligated to obey it because I have a new master. How I live my life has changed. His question was, am I learning to see the scriptures through the cross? Can I talk without the message of the cross being central? How long does it take for me to think of the cross, of Jesus, every day? How many hours or minutes can I spend before that becomes the central thought in my mind again? Am I learning to live by faith and not by sight? Well, what I see all around me is circumstantial, is temporal. Can I almost live outside of what this life is here and now? Can I live being sure of what I hope for and certain of what I do not see? I sure hope so. I sure hope that as God looks at my heart, as he searches me and knows me, that he sees a woman who walks by faith, a woman who searches the scriptures for the beauty of Jesus and who is encouraged by what she finds. I long for that in ever-increasing measure. Okay, I hope that you all are encouraged by this wonderful message of the cross. God bless you.